Hey everyone. Hi, Sammy. Welcome in. And the moment you've all been waiting for is here. Some of you, I mean, most of you probably already know New Future Fantasy, but for anyone who's not familiar, you're going to get to know him a lot more right now. And so let's go into it. And first, a short clip of the man himself doing what he does on stream. Here comes New Future Fantasy.
Shame our intrinsic avatar. One we go to as I show. Shame our prolific superstar. My marvelous theme just so. The beneficial power now brings the hero's friend. A gentle guide each hour sings, through passions blend. Old gratitude's fair flower opens, when mad minds extend. My love's plain plan, the twain of man, they shame. They are dynamic, lush, bizarre. One we yearn to as I learn. Shame our ironic repertoire, my garbled stream on turn. The artificial chaos now bears the master's rune. A vital stride each ethos tears through fortune's boon. Cold solitude's firm pathos ripens when said selves attune. My love's plain plan, the twain of man. The fate of fantasy made raw reality. Nature is pure form, a renegade, essential valentine. Androgyno, feature, tingle, tangle, angle of desire. Spiral, rapture, tinkle, twine. The sign of fun undone, to be set free. Better let thrive, or love, survival, sweet, complete arrival. The driver bomb this circle, miracle rerun. A thunder soul, a stylish swisher, wish patrol. The wonder stroll, a smile of mystery. The trial of nearly, dearly, clearly, eerily queer me. Shame our anarchic Shangri-La, one we could do as I should. Shame our eccentric split memoir, my darling dream all good. The sacrificial talent now spurs the poet's quill. A fatal tide each current stirs, through reason's will. Bold fortitude's grand moment happens, when hard hearts fulfill. My love's plain plan, my veiny land, Rye angel anima. Shame our karmatic partner, narcissistic charm.
Friend of the stream, virtuoso guitar player, singer, songwriter, streamer, performer, at large comedian, friend of the show. Please welcome New Future Fantasy. I think we can get him on here. Am I coming through all right on your end? How are you doing? Welcome to CIVIC TV. Things are great. How are they with you? I don't know. I don't know if you were able to hear my introduction, but does that suit you? Is that pretty accurate? Fantastic. Oh, hey, thanks for
There's a
that
big,
note in
yeah,
chat.
there's
Now,
a big
now
bit of
he
a
should be
delay.
coming
I've
through.
noticed there's
Yeah.
a bit of a delay between me doing this and you lot getting me doing
And
it.
that's what happens when we're transmitting through space and time, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So everyone, bear with it. Bear with it. It's not like I'm sort of like pausing. It's right on, but
That's
the
right.
pause is to do with the internets.
This is just how he looks on a normal day,
Yeah, this is it. It's
everyone.
just this is it. I thought I'm not going to bother dressing up. It's only Civic doing an interview. I
Yep.
just thought I'd go in my street clothes. Yeah,
And
you
I
know.
just wear this fur around with me wherever I go
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, yeah. We,
So
we 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 generally go out on the street, me and Civic together, do a bit hustling. Hustling around, collecting the money and all that.
I'm
Yeah,
curious,
yeah.
when you're
Hustling.
talking to people about your stream, how
Oh
do
yeah.
you describe it to someone?
Uh, well, it depends who they are, really. If they're an enlightened person, I can go off on all the sort of fancy stuff. But if they're someone who's not awoken to the other side, then I'll just say I'm just singing a few songs and that. I get a bit humble and self-depreciating. But if it's someone who has seen the light, then I'll generally get on about it's sort of poetical Jungian stream of consciousness, blah blah blah. That mumble jumble I kind of spout out, yeah, with a bit of guitar and my sort of tinny singing.
They have to be awoken to understand the full gravity of the NewFu.
Well, maybe, but then you see it works the other way, doesn't it? Because if they listen to the new foo, then that would be an awakening. What's the word for a medicine? A sort of an awakening thingy that would help to accelerate their awakening. Because you see, being awakened is the natural human state, but people have been unawakened by various thingies, technology, capitalism, blah blah blah. But you see, so yeah. So generally, right, I just sort of make it up as I go along, really, if someone asks me, which is what I generally do all the time anyhow. It's got me this far.
NewFu is the smelling salts for the spirit, right?
Yeah, yeah, this is it. You see, I think Civic, man, I think I should hire you as my new future lyricist or something, or new future kind of thingy sayer. You see
I'll
what I mean? I've used them all up on the songs. I've run out of words now.
I'll
I think
write
I
the
think
ad
you're
copy for you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, more than ad copy, it's more like kind of what's S exegesis or something. What's that word for interpreting sacred texts and that exegesis?
Oh yes, that's a word that I've heard at some point in my life.
Yeah,
New
so
Future Fantasy, Human
you would be my new
Dictionary.
future. Well, sort of, but you would be my new future exegesitor. I just make it all up. You'll know what I mean, everyone.
I see that exegesis. Yep, thank you, Venusberg.
Exegesis and Venus. I think Venusberg will be my new future vocabularyist because she knows all the words. She knows all the words. And me, the guy who will supposedly have all the words, I don't know any of them. You see the exquisite irony of it all. Do you see it, folks?
I
Do
would
you see
hope
it?
that Venusberg does know all the words, or I
She
don't
knows
see how
all
you
the
would
words.
communicate.
It's awful. It's the complete opposite. It's the complete opposite of what you think. You think that little Nufu, right? When he's there at home, he's blah 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 blahing, and Venusberg. It's the opposite. She blah blah blah, and I'm like kind of like a kind of prehistoric caveman. Guh, duh. Yes
And
and no. It's like kind of and That is it. That is it. She just kind of throws food at me, right? And I just pick it up off the floor like a dog. That is it. It's terrible. And then I just do this act and it's new futurism. It's ridiculous. It's absurd.
little look behind the curtain there. And anyone who
It's,
doesn't know, Venusberg is the magic behind the scenes at New Future
yeah, yeah.
Central.
She certainly is. She certainly is. She's pulling the strings. Well, it's a set of levers, really, because that's why I never get up, you see, because coming up from under the chair, there's a set of levers that actually operate me. Yeah, I have to kind of down on them. I'll leave that to your imagination, right?
down on them. Oh, and it gets up there and it enters my spine like one of those science fiction movies, right? And then I'm operated, and she's there on her little keyboard behind the curtain operating me. Yeah.
Nufu is the puppet, Venusberg is the puppeteer.
It's pretty sad, really. It's pretty sad. Yeah, yeah.
And so we all, well, I would say the majority of us in chat, maybe not Venusberg, but we've all come to know you through your stream. How long have you been streaming at this point?
I don't know, about 9 months, I think. 9 months. Since about May, I think I got it together. Yeah, we got the new internet line put in. And then I was right in there, mate, right in there. And I spent about 9 months before that, actually, about 6 or 9 months before that, preparing all the songs, because I didn't have all my songs were in electric form. So I did spend a good half a year preparing the songs for acoustic and memorizing all the lyrics and writing all the raps, because the raps were basically filling in for the guitar solos that I had on the instrumental versions.
I like that you call them raps. I'm reminded often of the sort of, I want to say aggressive, maybe just fast tempo delivery on some hip hop songs, you know, like you're rapping at us, man.
Do I look like a rapper? But it was really in necessity being the mother of invention, because as I say, there'll be gaps in the songs where I do a guitar solo, an instrumental section in the electric version. So when I was adapting them to acoustic, I thought, what can I do? And if you understand the mechanics of playing the guitar, on the slower ones where I'm doing the finger picking on the classical guitar, I wrote some intricate kind of counterpoints on the classical guitar. I wrote them. But when you're sort of strumming, you can't really do you can't keep the strumming going and then do a sort of solo. It just sounds really empty. Just sounds like ting, 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 ting. The whole energy drops out. So I thought, well, what can I do? And my options are pretty limited. So all I could think of doing was writing a sort of poetical rap sort of thing. And so that's what I did. Well, I did quite a few of them.
So you are obviously a talented singer, songwriter, guitar player. But what about that lyrical content that you're talking about? When did you really start writing towards that end? I mean, we all start writing very early in school, but I mean, that form, that poetical form of delivery that you have, when did you start writing like that?
Oh, it's really evolved over many years, but I think about 4 or 5 years ago, or was it 3 years ago? I can't remember, because I'm just spaced out in life, really. But I suddenly discovered modern poetry. And the one that did it for me was, it's a very famous poem, T.S. Eliot's Prufrock. Anyone who's interested in poetry will know that. And that just blew my mind. And then from there, I used to, once a week, I'd get on my push bike and go into the centre of London and go around all these second-hand bookshops buying all these nice old hardback editions of poetry. And I built up a collection of poetry, and for about a year I was obsessed with poetry, especially modern poetry, but all kinds of English poetry. And I just read and read and read it, and then that sort of osmotically seeped into me. And then because I've all been writing lyrics before that, but then it's just kind of given fruit and changed my whole approach to lyrics, plus various other technical rules I've worked out over the years, rules about scanning and internal rhymes and sounds. They're more kind of mechanical musical rules. They're very technical and very quite dry, but they do give good results.
Sammy Slammy says, what's a push bike? I think there's
a push bike is a bike without a motor. That's what we call that in England, little England, little England. Yeah, you don't actually push it, you get on it and ride it. Yeah, because
sometimes
Venusberg's got a car, but she don't let me drive it, which I think is a very sensible decision.
Sounds sensible. Yeah, she's the sensible half.
I get on the bike. It takes about 25 minutes to get into the centre of London, and there's all these old little second-hand bookshops. That's about as exciting as my life gets, guys. It's pretty sad. That's why I'm a new future fantasist, to make up for that fact.
It's fun. It's like, someone from outside of the country might think we speak the same language, but I beg to differ. No.
Was it Bernard Shaw or some famous English literature person? He said England and America are two countries divided by the same language, or something witty like that.
Perfect, absolutely. So
yeah.
Side note, I visited
Yeah.
London when I was younger. I went with my dad and my brother, and my dad could not for the life of him understand what people were saying to him. We had to
You should,
translate for him.
you should go to somewhere like Newcastle or North Wales, uh, especially the older people in some or some areas of Scotland. But I noticed when I went to Newcastle years ago, especially the older people, it's like, oh yeah, yeah, it's what, you need subtitles. Or in the North Wales, when I went hitchhiking around there, very difficult to understand, very thick accents. I'm not really good at accents.
I
My brother's
imagine,
superb at
yeah,
them.
from one part of the country to the other, you're going to need a
Uh,
guide, a translator.
But I remember one interesting story. I was drunk one night and I was round at my friend's house, and he had a Japanese girlfriend, and she spoke English all right. She still had quite a heavy Japanese accent, but her English was fine. And because I was drunk, I was really getting leery, talking like that. And she was going, what this la, what this la. That's what exactly what she just couldn't get her ear or even her mouth around the vowels, those kind of splatty vowels that I was saying. She, what this and
It's geezer
so
talk, right? Geezer talk.
yeah, but
But
yeah, it is a funny old game, isn't it? Language. I suppose me being involved with it, I'm quite sort of obsessed with language
what
and
about the
accents and that.
language of music? You like that segue? So, you often talk on stream about
Mm?
music theory, and is
Yeah,
it true that you used to teach guitar?
absolutely, absolutely. I spent about a decade doing that in this very room. Again, it was my little bubble. Everyone used to come to me, and I had a good go at it. A good go at it. It was the internet kind of killed it because there's more and more and more what they called sort of the displays and things coming up on the internet, and then the COVID thing killed it completely. And I'm glad I'm out of it now. But I had a good time. I earned a decent living. Didn't Never going to get rich doing it, but I earned a decent living, and I had all kinds of people, about 15, 20 people a week coming, generally really good people. And I would teach them guitar or bass guitar, electric guitar, all types of guitar or bass guitar, and general music theory and all kinds of stuff.
You're
I had a good time
continuing
at it.
to evolve and roll with the punches, right? And I find that's a lot of people on Twitch. You know, we had something we were doing in the before times, and then
Mhm.
something in our life, or just the pandemic happened, and that forced us onto Twitch. And I'm happy to be here. I'm all the better for being here. I'm glad to be here with you on stream too.
Well, in some ways, I don't want to be morbid or anything, but this whole pandemic thing is being really good for me because it kind of changed everything, and it's got me on here, and I'm doing all right here. I managed to sort of scrape by in practical terms, and it's been wonderful the last 9 months on Twitch, especially the first couple of months were a bit hard because I had very few viewers, and I just keep faith, keep focus. It'll all come together. But the last sort of, I don't know, 4 or 5 months has been wonderful since I've got the community together. Thanks to the support of people like you, it's been wonderful.
And we've all been forced to reevaluate our lives and what's worth getting up for in the morning, right? And
Mm.
I know that gets me to leave the house a lot less. I mean, it's not worth it out there. I'm here doing my work here, and I'm happier for it. Yeah.
As you say, you've got to roll with the punches. The world is changing, and the world is always going to change. And people that don't adapt to the changing world get left behind. And this is maybe this new world, this compartmentalized world where everyone's kind of got communicating via wires in the road. Basically, we all live in our little kind of compartmentalized bubbles in our little fantasies. We've all got our little backdrops and our little costumes, and we all create these things, and it's a kind of community with people that don't never see each other for real or
Creating
touch
our
each other.
own worlds and yeah, interacting with them on our terms, right?
Yes, it is a new way forward, and things are always going to continually change. So, but it's been wonderful. It's been wonderful. It's a whole kind of thing. It's quite hard work really as well. But as you
So
say, when it's something you want to do, you get up and do that work.
absolutely. And
Mhm.
you had already mentioned adapting your songs for, you said, about 6 months ahead of time,
Yeah.
taking them from their old form into their new form, into the
Mhm.
acoustic version.
Yeah.
Um, and so these songs that you play on stream, I understand definitely some of them are new, but a lot of them aren't new and you've adapted them. Is that right?
Absolutely, about half and half, I'd say, or maybe 2/3 are old and the third is new. I'm not sure exactly, but yes, yeah.
Well,
But some are brand new.
I think it's a
That shame,
great
that shame
moment.
my eyes brand. Yeah, that shame my
Oh,
eyes brand new.
I love Shea Mayar, by the
Yeah,
way. I mentioned it before the interview. It's one of my all-time favorites, one of my new
yeah.
Foo favorites, and I think everyone has their favorites.
Mhm.
This one coming up, I'm gonna play a clip in just a second here, and I think it's a favorite of a lot of people. And
Oh, lovely.
we'll get to enjoy that together on stream, and then we'll come back and chat a lot more after that.
Voila. Haha.
Everyone, this is Too Tight by New
Oh,
Future
that one.
Fantasy.
Oh, that one.
And I must gladly do struggle through nuances of sorrow for tomorrow climb on borrowed time and karmic crime. Quick to go from slick to slow, lose the flow of potent inspiration on frustration cold, cannot keep hold with every big bold bite, a proud pathetic light to suffer loving spite. Squeezing me too tight, tight, tight. Am I what I've barely got? A little lot of nothing to string along and sing my song. Get it wrong before once more, I'm sure again. Only when such power fills my flower will the hour fall that answers all. Conscience call beyond the wall of strain, my proud pathetic pain. I suffer loving vain to make my meaning plain. To chase the fleeting face, a changing chance, a dancing glance, a strange desire. Walk the wire, feed the fire, bleed each seed away. Embrace the race of dire destiny. Plead the creed each desperate day. Wait for faith long gone astray. Shine divine to colour grey. Live to give it passion's play. Am I where I care to be? Free to feel the real with ill, much mystery. A crazy key, a sneaky, freaky fantasy. There to share with those that dare this fun affair of understood confusion. Should illusion turn amusement mad with every big bad bite? A proud, pathetic plight to suffer loving spite. A squeezing me too tight with every big bad bite. A proud, pathetic plight to suffer loving spite. A squeezing me too tight, 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 tight.
I don't envy musicians on stream. Audio is sometimes the hardest thing for me to get right. You seem to do
Yeah,
well with it.
it is a big thing. Sort of half science, half art. Audio engineering,
Yeah,
big thing.
absolutely. I
Yeah,
agree, Dante, by the way. And then, so you're dealing with the audio routing on your system
yeah,
already and then going through OBS too. Crazy. But that was
yeah,
too
yeah,
tight. Um,
yeah.
Very tight. Too tight, even. And one thing I
Yes.
love about your songs, they're so lyrically dense that different people can get different meanings out of them. But what does that song mean to you?
That me in it, just strung too tight, really. Strung too tight. Got to loosen up. But then making what's the word? Making a virtue of necessity, or a virtue of a vice, or something. Because you are what you are, and you are what you're meant to be. But yeah, as everyone says, all the people that know me say, you're just so uptight, Nufu. Why can't you just loosen up?
Tighten up. No, loosen
Lighten
up.
up, loosen up. Oh no, but that's kind of what it's about. But then it's also, it's just a sort of swagger through life, isn't it? You know, swagging. Am I this? Am I that? So what? So what? I am this. I am that. Take it or leave it. That's the way it is.
That is
Sort of thing.
reflected in the rhythm and the lyrical content, I
Yeah.
think, where it comes to
Yeah.
the chorus and it's too tight. And
It's too
then
tight.
it jumps back into the rhythm of it, the groove of it, and yeah, just go with it. You are who you are, right?
You are who you are. It's a song, you know, it's a song for other people as well. It's a song saying, look, just be who you are. Be who you are. A lot of my stuff is like that. It's a song of self-assertion and self-realization and just believing in yourself. Yeah.
I love it,
Which I
and
think,
I'm
yeah.
inspired by that message, and I'm
Oh,
inspired by
thank you so
you
much.
on stream.
Thank you so
sir.
much. Well, what can I say? It's 90%, 99% tenacity, really, to do what I'm doing. Uh, uh, really, that's what I would say to people. It's a lot of it is just tenacity, just sticking at it. And again, I hope this inspires people, just sticking at it, and eventually you'll sort things out. So that's what I've done with the songwriting, and I'm still working on the performance. You know, still there's a lot to go on the performance, really.
And I think
But
that's a perfect moment to go back into a clip, actually, talking about the evolution of your performance. I have queued up the alternate version of Too Tight that you have on
oh
your
yeah,
YouTube account. And by the
yeah,
way, anyone can put in command, exclamation mark NF, and you'll get links to New Future Fantasy's
yeah.
social media accounts, including the YouTube account where I got these clips. But let's go back into the other version of Too Tight.
Am I who must gladly do? Struggle through new nuances of sorrow. For tomorrow climb on borrowed time and karmic crime. Quick to go from slick to slow. Lose the flow of potent inspiration. On frustration cold, can I keep hold with every big bold? Bite, a proud pathetic plight. To suffer loving, spite, or squeezing me too tight. Tight, tight. Am I what I've barely got? A little lot of nothing to string along and sing my song. Get it wrong before once more I'm sure again. Only when such power fills my flower will the hour fall that answers all. Conscience call beyond the wall of strain. My proud pathetic pain. I suffer loving vain to make my meaning plain. To chase the fleeting face of changing chance, the dancing glance of strange desire. Walk the wire, feed the fire, bleed each seed away. Embrace the race of tired destiny. Plead the creed each desperate day. Wait for fate long gone astray. Shine divine to colour grey. Live to give the passions play. Am I where I care to be? Free to feel the real reveal, much mystery. A crazy key or sneaky, freaky fantasy. There to share with those that dare this fun affair of understood confusion. Should illusion turn amusement mad with every big bad bite? A proud pathetic plight to suffer loving spite for squeezing me too tight with every big bad bite. A proud pathetic plight to suffer loving spite for squeezing me too tight. Tight, tight.
All right, I think I got the audio portion correct that time. But fantastic version. I loved seeing that for the first time. Loved hearing it. It was great to hear the difference between that and the acoustic version. Um,
Yeah,
and so this version came first, is that right?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. That's what I adapted. Yeah.
And I think I saw some people having the same reaction I did in the chat. It's great to see the evolution of a NewFu song.
When I listen to the older version, I'm not that happy with the vocal on it. I feel like I've evolved the vocal and few subtle lyrical things, but the actual music I'm pretty happy with.
And so I definitely understand from like the practical standpoint why you would adapt them into your acoustic version.
Hmm.
It's for performance on stream that makes a lot of sense. But I guess what I'm starting to ask is what would the ultimate goal be? Is it for them to always live this song? Is it for it to always live in the acoustic version now, or would you adapt it back onto a recording like that?
The ultimate goal, that's a good question. The ultimate goal is always changing, but the ultimate goal for me is to fully realize my music, fully realize my art. Not even my music, my art, because I feel like my art encapsulates areas of music, poetry, visual presentation, even a little bit of humor. That's something again that's been made making a what's the word, a virtue out of necessity, because I need to fill in the gaps between the songs. So I've just developed this sort of humorous style. But my ultimate aim is to fully in the music is to fully realize the songs, and so for that, uh, I would love to have a full band, and some songs would still stay acoustic. Some of the more intimate ones, other ones, so say Too Tight, I would have a full live band, and it would be pretty similar to that arrangement. Yeah, that would be the ultimate aim there.
I would love
Well,
to see that New Future Fantasy
mm,
as a band leader, the whole
yeah,
personality coming through on stage with an audience.
absolutely, and having an old audio visual thing. I'd love to stream this from a proper stage. Still be a live stream with all the band behind, with dancers, with visuals. Uh, I would perhaps use an actor to deliver bits of poetry. Who knows if it will ever get there, or maybe I'll still just be doing this in 20 years' time. But I think in life you should aim as high as all the achievement books. They say we limit ourselves, and so I'm just gonna not do that. I'm gonna just put my aim as high as possible, so that at least give me a bit of a chance of getting there. So yeah, imagine like a full studio with a even a theatre, New Future, my own theatre, right, with an audience there to create an atmosphere, streaming there for full live band, dancers, visuals, backdrops, projections, actors to do the to do bits of poetry. I might use different singers as well as singing myself, backing the whole lot. A full orchestra behind me. A full
Brought
orchestra.
brought to you by CIVIC TV.
Exactly. What was it? Absolutely, absolutely. You've pitched that in good. Yeah. So that is aiming pretty darn high, really. And the cynics will say it's completely impossible, but who
I love
knows?
it. And
Who knows?
you
It is
know,
impossible if you say it's impossible. It is.
any
But if I say
iteration between that, from here to there, I'd love to see the
mm,
evolution. And
absolutely.
I'll be there with projectors and live visuals for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Already, meeting people like you and other talented people. Who knows? Who knows? But you've got to set yourself. You don't want to limit yourself. So I'm not limiting myself in that vision. Who
New
knows?
Future Fantasy is limitless.
Well, this is it. This is it. It is all a fantasy, really. But then I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I wouldn't have thought this a year or two ago. When I started doing the acoustic songs, I just had the idea. You see, maybe there is a magic in the universe, because when I started doing the acoustic songs, I knew nothing of Twitch. I'd heard of Twitch. I thought, well, that sounds a bit weird. It's some sort of kinky thing or something. I didn't know anything about it. I just heard the name. I thought didn't really like the name Twitch. But what I thought, I was still doing the recordings on my computer studio, like the one you just played, the multi-track recordings. And then I thought, no one's gonna. They're not commercially viable, because uh, Well, because if someone, I still had the old idea of the music industry in my head, which is gone now. But I thought if a record company come to me, they might think, yeah, it's all nice and that, but how's this viable? It cost a fortune to get this together, to hire all the musicians and do it all, yeah, and hire sound engineers and recording studios. These things cost a fortune, right? So I thought, okay, what is viable? The only thing that's commercially viable is if I get it together acoustically and just do the songs acoustically, and then that's much more commercially viable because it's really cheap. It's just me and a couple of guitars, and it's cheaper to record. And I thought somehow I'm going to get these songs acoustically done, and somehow I'm going to get them out there. I had no idea about Twitch, and I spent about 6 months getting the songs together. And then I thought somehow I'm just going to keep the vision, and somehow by some magical means I'm going to get out there. And here I am a year and a half later, and they are out there. Only in a small way, but they are out there. The Twitch come out of nowhere. And I discovered that, and here I am.
The new model truly is make your own success, right? And the old model is effectively dead at this point, I think. You know, a major music label putting you out there and promoting your album on TV, you know, and sending your video to MTV, and that's the old way, right? The new way is to put it out yourself and see what you get back, right?
I think so, yes. I think so. And I asked myself, would I wanted that old way? I think in the 70s and the 60s and 70s it would have been good, but I think the music industry is different now. It's just a corporate thing. I don't like the sound of any of it, of the stuff coming out. And they wouldn't know what to do with someone like me anyhow.
Absolutely. And you do know what to do with you, so you take it into your own hands.
I'm making it up as I go along, but then I think that's what all the great people do. Not that I'm saying I'm great, but I think that is the way to go. Just make it up as you go along and create your own paradigm. Who I've heard some horrible stories of people signed to record companies, some terrible stories. They just spent years doing nothing, but they couldn't do anything, and they're just on some retainer. And financially, they were hardly any better off than me. They were just on a retainer, which was a basic wage, and they couldn't do anything. And the record companies, they even owned their answer machine messages.
Oh wow, yeah, just keeping the rights to all the masters, and like you're writing music for the company at that point, right?
Yeah, and
it's their asset, yeah.
And the people couldn't do anything. They couldn't go off and do music elsewhere because they were tied to this exclusive contract. And then the company just dropped them after 2 or 3 years. But I don't want to whinge on about everything. Things are going all right for me, and at the moment things are going all right. But it has been hard work to get here. But then that's no bad thing. It's good to have something to focus your life on.
Absolutely, it's a lot of work, and but on stream you really don't dwell on that either. You have a lot of fun on stream. I have a lot of fun watching your stream. I'm there all the time, bugging you in your channel, and
yeah,
there's a lot of
half of me.
I would say half of the stream is music, half of the stream is you being you, which I really appreciate.
Again, that was what's the word? Making an invention out of necessity. What's the phrase again? But because originally I started, I should do the songs and I'd sit there and do the songs and I'd sit there. If you sing all the time and that, not only does it bore the listener, variety is the spice of life, isn't it? You have to have scene changes. But it's very exhausting because when you're singing, you're using loads of a lot more energy, even though it doesn't look like it. Even when you're singing very quietly, that's the mechanics of how vocals work. So and also playing the guitar, so it's good to have little rests between the songs to put the guitar down and just chat and give the singing muscles in the diaphragm a rest for a few minutes. And what do? Well, I'm going to get the looping machine soon, so that will change everything. But I haven't got that yet, so I just invented this kind of character and this sort of chatter and that. So
I'm excited for that, by the way. And so I have a clip here to show people exactly what we're talking about, and it'll give you a chance to hydrate, says Venusberg.
Okay,
so we'll go watch another clip and be right back.
Good.
He's a geezer. 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 Yeah. He's a geezer. 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 Yeah, yeah. He's a geezer. Yeah, yeah. He's a geezer. Is he? He's a geezer, and he's a geezer. He geezes down the alley and he can't seem to sing. He's a geezer, and they all say, he's a geezer, can't sing. Oh yeah, he's a geezer, oh hey, he's a geezer, yeah, yeah, he's a geezer, 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 oh, he's a geezer, he's a geezer, is he? Dum 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 dum, he's a geezer, he's a geezer, he's a geezer, he's a geezer, he's a geezer. He's a geezer, is he? He's a geezer, 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 he's a geezer in the style of Rossini. He's a geezer, 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 he Giza, 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 Giza,
A round of applause for that.
Yeah, that was a one-off. You're never going to get that again.
Right? Spontaneous and unforgettable, but
Well,
it lives on YouTube, right? And
Is
so
has someone put it on YouTube? Oh, I
that
put it on YouTube, haven't I? See, I forget what I do.
it is on your
Yeah,
YouTube.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yes.
okay. Yeah, I was so
And
wrapped up.
and so
There you
it's a
go.
great example of the in jokes that pop up from your channel. I
Yeah.
mean, it's all like shared humor between the people who come in and out. And I've seen, that whole geezer conversation make its way onto other channels too.
Yeah, I've seen that. Well, this is it. New futurism is bigger than me. It's a thing in itself, really. Uh, I've always felt that right from the beginning. It was just a lyric in a song that I wrote, and I'm raging and raging. A new future fantasy, and oh, that's a good idea. And then it just sort of grabbed me, but yeah, the terms of the humour and the jokes and that, it's very much a symbiotic thing, and I'm picking up off the energy that I'm getting off of the viewers and people, and just kind of going with it half the time. And it is very spontaneous.
But what is a geezer? Can
I don't know really. I just make it's just a word I picked up. Everything is it was just words I pick up. No, geezer, in it. He's a geezer. It's like a kind of London guy, Jack the Ladder guy. He's kind of got the gift of the gab. He knows it all, Wears a cloth cap, shuffles down the road. He's got his braces on, not braces like this. Kind of working class, kind of cocky, know it all, kind of charming guy. He's a likeable guy, a little bit of a cad, but he's generally all right. I think that's a geezer. I'm not sure.
and
Something like that.
I wanted to say I really think you could take this even further from a branding perspective. I feel like you
Okay.
need shirts that say geezer on them. I feel like you need bumper stickers that say honk if you're a geezer, that sort of thing,
Yeah.
Brand it out. Geezer.
Yeah, I'm not so hot on all that branding thing. I don't really know much about it, but it sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. I go with the flow. So now you've said it, it's probably going to happen. So I go
Eh,
with the flow. That half of it is just what ideas that people put into me. So now you've done it, you've put that idea into me. It's probably going to happen.
I know what you mean, though. I don't even have shirts out there. I have no merchandise out there. It's just not something I spend my time on. But I've been intending to actually get a shirt out there. But yeah, it's there's other things that I spend my time on.
did it pretty quickly on what was it, Stream Elements. I just loaded the emotes onto my t-shirts. That only took 10 minutes, and I think I put the price right down to the very bottom.
Yes, we got one, and yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. I endorse that bargain basement prices on New Future Fantasy t-shirts.
yeah. I'm not interested in money. I'm only interested in money in so much as it can facilitate my art. That's really all I'm interested in, really. Yeah, and can provide me with the sort of average standard of living. You know.
It takes that to keep making the art that you love, right? If it's
Yeah.
not if it's it doesn't need to get you rich. If it keeps you alive and keeps you making art, then that's the
Interested in getting
goal.
rich is an end in itself. I'm sure that I don't know many rich, but in fact I do know some rich people, and then they're not doing that well, to be honest. Uh, they're,
More
they're they're no happier than me.
more
I
money,
do know
more
people get
problems, as it has been said, right?
perhaps. Oh look, we've got a definition of a geezer here.
Oh,
Sit outside. I'm not
here.
really a geezer, you see. Let's see. Look, you see the definition that Emster put up. A geezer will be found usually outside a pub with a pint in his hand on match day. That's really not me.
Like
It's really not.
a soccer
The common,
hooligan.
well, yeah, but a softer. They're generally like football, scrapping. Getting tasty, getting tasty. Remember that? Tasty means you're kind of good with your fists, yeah, at street fighting, yeah. Which, again, when I was at school, I wasn't really a good fighter, to be honest. I was pretty darn average, although I wasn't a wimp. But and so, what else do they like? Beer? No, I haven't had beer for years. To
Hey,
be
me
brutally
too.
to be honest, and I didn't mind beer, but when I discovered other things, I preferred them to beer, other intoxicants, shall we say. I thought, I'm going to give up alcohol and just take drugs instead because I preferred them because you could do music better on them. So that's that story. Tea.
Hey, it used to be drink less and smoke more weed for me. Now I don't do
That,
either.
yeah, I don't do. I'm go clean. It's done good for me, people. But what else do they like? Beer, bowl, tea. I gave up tea with the spliffs, to be honest. But I did used to enjoy tea. Tits, well, I prefer to call them breasts. Yeah, I like them. Yeah, and Barry White. Not really. Barry White's good. I haven't got a single CD of him. I'm much more of a Stevie Wonder man. I adore Stevie
Oh,
Wonder.
Stevie Wonder's the greatest. Yeah, we have an LP of Stevie's actually. We don't have a lot of records, but we have that. Yeah.
He is an influence in my stuff in the big structures and the virtuosic thing I'm going for, which he readily achieves. But yeah, Stevie Wonder I absolutely adore. I adore Stevie Wonder. I think my favourite musicians are Stevie Wonder, Eric Clapton, who I absolutely adore for sheer virtuosity, Richard Wagner for his operas, Mozart for especially his late operas, and the Beatles. Although their stuff is uneven, but some of the songs they did are just so marvellously exquisite. They're very conservative tastes, really.
So I was listening to the Beatles in the womb. My mom is one of
Mm-hmm.
the old school Beatles fanatic. She was actually at their first U.S. concert. She had her
Oh
parents
wow,
take her to it, and they
yeah,
were willing to do that. So kudos to them. Yeah.
yeah, that's amazing. Yeah,
And she
I like
actually
that late.
said she didn't like that show because the entire audience was screaming the whole time. She couldn't hear the music, you know.
Well, that's a whole another side of things, wasn't it? Because they were young lads, and young girls and stuff like that. That's another side of things.
And so let's go back into the music. I have a clip I
Oh
want
yes.
to share that we'll talk more about afterwards. This is some of your flat picking splatter.
Oh that. Oh that. Yeah. Well, there you go. That's a new. I've only been doing that for about a month. So
Here
there
we
you go.
go. Sorry.
I'm on a train and can't stop in the middle of the hype train. What one shall I do? What one shall I do? Green. I know what I haven't done. Do it double time, NewFu. Okay. Okay.
I think you did one of everything there, right?
Yeah, that's again, that's making a necessity, virtue out of necessity again, just something to fill in the gaps and that. I just copied it rather badly from another streamer called the Flat Pick Apprentice. Don't know if you heard of him.
I was
The
going
Flat
to
Pick.
ask about where you sort of pulled that style from because I feel
Yeah.
like it has a lot. There's some lent from Americana, classic Americana like guitar
Of
styles.
course, that style's been I've been hearing it for forever and ever on bits on television and bits of music and that here and there. But the technical way of doing it, I just watched a few streams of this guy called the Flat Pick who basically specialises in it's called bluegrass picking. And because of my extensive knowledge of guitar and music theory, I just watched a few and just picked it up. Oh, okay, he's doing that, and that, and because of my extensive knowledge of the guitar, I could pick it up and put it together pretty much straight away. Yeah. Whereas someone starting from scratch, it would take them years to put that together.
Proud and
So
Nasty rating in. Hi, Proud and Nasty. Sorry to
Oh,
cut you
excellent.
off.
Thank you so much. Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
the
much, Proud
raid,
and Nasty.
everyone. Yeah,
How is your little Proud and Nasty? He's a very talented lad, isn't he? He does a lot of
completely.
humour and that.
And
Very humorous and that. But underneath it, there's a very solid musicianship.
amazing improvisation, too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming
very
in,
solid.
everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much, Proud and Nasty.
And we were just talking about that classic bluegrass Americana feel to the songs. And I really hear that in As Above, So Below, another one of my favorites.
Oh yes, that's different because that's picking. Getting technical on the guitar. That's something called a thumb pick. So you've got a plectrum wrapped around your thumb that's independent, and then you're using the other three fingers. So it's a sort of finger picking thing. So it's much more difficult to improvise on that. I can't really improvise on that style, but I've worked out all the chords and that, and so you've got counterpoints going. Whereas the flat picking style actually has no counterpoints. It creates an illusion of counterpoint, but you're actually, because you've got a plectrum between the thumb and the first finger. You can only hit one note at a time. Even when you're strumming, you're still hitting one note at a time. You're just going through them very quickly. So, there's a lot of technicals involved in playing the guitar and music and that. But for the listener's point of view, they don't need to know about that. If they like it, they like it. Really, everyone's a music expert. If you like it, you like it. That's basically it. Or if you don't like it, you don't like it. And that is your opinion is as valid as anybody else's.
We're all experts in what we enjoy, right?
Yeah, but as above, so below. That's kind of hermetic philosophy, isn't it? One of the 7 hermetic principles, the principle of correspondence.
Absolutely.
As above, so below. So that's a more kind of my spiritual musings, kind of a bit kind of Gnostic or a bit spiritual or a bit yogic.
And I noticed it's not on YouTube yet, by the way. I would love to see.
Because, yeah, it's pretty difficult to get right. That
right,
one.
Absolutely. And so you clip the performances where you nail it and you put it on YouTube after that.
Absolutely. Yeah, really, I should. It's why I admire someone like Eric Clapton, because he just comes on and nails every single one. That's why I worship him. Yeah, that is the way to do it. He's ahead of the crowd. And I'll get there. But there's loads of little fiddly little notes to do on that song. Plus, there's loads of lyrics. And not only that, but they've got to be scanned and done in a very sort of disciplined kind of way. Plus, you've got to kind of get a spontaneous sort of thing, as if you're just throwing off the phrases, as if it's just sort of, throwing them off in an easy way. So it's very technically very difficult to do, but it'll come. I've come close a few times. Things, one tiny little guitar note off, and that's it. The whole thing is just finished, So, but that's the task I've set myself, and that's what I will achieve.
One note off, and it all falls apart.
Well, it's not going to be put on YouTube, yeah. But from if I'm doing it at stream, to be honest, most people probably won't even notice.
We're all just wrapped up in the fantasy when we're watching.
Exactly. It's only other musicians that will notice if they're listening critically, and they probably won't want to listen anyhow because they're going to listen critically. Think, I don't like him. They can see what I'm about. So for most people, you just knuckle down and they just want the general gist of the thing, and that's great. So.
And I just wanted to throw in there for anyone who just came in on the raid, we're looking at New Future Fantasy's clips from YouTube. Those are the clips that I'm playing on stream, and you can find the links to his social media by putting in !NF in the chat. And
excellent. Thank you so much for that.
Let's go into another clip, actually, and another performance where you nail it. We're going to play Narcissistic Nemesis and then come back and talk about it afterwards. Yeah.
That one.
Another fantastic one. Yes.
That's an interesting one, that is.
Let's talk about it afterwards and let the people enjoy. Yeah. Thanks for that, Emster.
Thank you.
I narcissistic desire. I narcissistic desire. Carmelite, charming, sticky, slick. I narcissistic desire. Carmelite, charming, sticky, slick. Trial. Sticky, slick, trial. Style. Sticky, slick, trial. Style. Small. I narcissistic desire. Carmelite, charming, sticky, slick. I narcissistic desire. Carmelite, charming, sticky, slick. Trial. I narcissistic desire. Carmelite, charming, sticky, slick. Trial. Style. Sticky, slick, trial. Style. Small. Sticky, slick, trial. Style. Small. Clever devil. Small. Clever devil. Ember kiss. Small. Clever devil. Ember kiss. Never miss. I I narcissistic desire, Carmelite, charming, sticky, slick trial. I narcissistic desire, Carmelite, charming, sticky, slick trial style. I narcissistic desire, Carmelite, charming, sticky, slick trial style. Small, sticky, slick trial style. Small, clever devil, sticky, slick trial style. Small, clever devil, ember kiss, sticky, slick trial style. Small, clever devil, ember kiss, never miss. Small, clever devil, ember kiss, never miss. Attempted bliss. Small, clever devil, ember kiss, never miss. Attempted bliss, hem the abyss. Small, clever devil, ember kiss, never miss. Attempted bliss, hem the abyss of nemesis. Hem the abyss of nemesis. Ever this. Hem the abyss of nemesis. Ever this. Severed hubris. Hem the abyss of nemesis. Ever this. Severed hubris. Emphatic disconnection.
Hey, welcome in, Ornery and Mean. Thanks for rating in. And
Welcome in. Yeah, thank you.
that was Narcissistic Nemesis by New Future Fantasy. And amazing song structurally and musically, but also the lyrics, the lyrical content, fantastic. And you've talked about it, you've teased about it on stream that you wrote it. I think you've said you wrote it because of someone in your life. And I was wondering if you could share a little bit more about the backstory of that song, if you're willing to.
It didn't exist 2 months ago. It's just come out. It's just one of those songs that's just come out of nowhere. I can't quite remember how I wrote it, but it simply didn't exist. And I wrote it, sort of come out of nowhere, and here it is. And as you say, structurally, I suppose it's one of my most advanced songs. It's this technique called deconstructed songwriting or something, or deconstructed music. So there's only actually a few lyrics, and they keep kind of repeating themselves, and then you drop the end off one line and then extend that same line, and do you see you see what I mean?
And it becomes closer and closer to each other as it filters down to the end of the song, right?
Exactly. And then you're echoing that with the musical structure as well. And musically is using lots of advanced sort of jazz chords, but they don't sound jazzy. That's a device I got off of Stevie Wonder, because he uses loads of very advanced jazz chords. But I'm not a great fan of the sound of jazz. It's not in my own music. I don't really want it to sound jazzy, and I don't feel I can get the jazz feel, but I like the sophisticated harmonies, chords. But so it just come out of nowhere, really.
I don't think the world could handle it if NewFu went jazzy on us. I think the entire world would just implode at that point.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Jazz and blues, I just don't feel I've got the voice for it for a start, or the feel. The voice is the window into the soul. I just can't get the voice or the feel, so I leave it to other people. And what can I add to jazz and blues that's not been done already? So I'm just sticking to my own sort of twee English thing. But the story behind it, did have an intimate and long relationship with a narcissist. I don't want to say who they are, because I don't feel it would be fair on them, because they are someone who was very close to me, and who I still have a sort of love towards. despite everything. So I'm not going to say who they are, but there's somebody very, very close to me, very, very close to me, who had a big influence on my life.
Well, I think
And
most of us have known a narcissist in our
mm,
lives, and then we all are a bit on our own end, right? I noticed that you sing that from the first person, I narcissistic desire, and in that way it could apply to any of us, right? In our
may,
lives.
maybe I'm a narcissist. Who knows? People rub off on each other, but I can certainly suss where a narcissist is coming from. But that song is a tragic song, really, because part of it is saying that narcissists are really they damage other people around them, but really the first damage they do is to themselves, because they're missing out on the most precious and beautiful thing in life, which is love, connecting to people. That yeah, because without that, their life is just empty and hollow, and then they're caught in this vicious cycle because they're not getting the satisfaction, and then they just go back to their narcissistic thing in a vain attempt to grab that satisfaction.
They'll just
And
view everything as an extension of themselves, right?
exactly, and this person who was a narcissist, it took me years to work it out. Years to work it out. I just thought they were spiteful or evil, but sometimes they weren't even those things. Sometimes they could never be overly generous and nice, but it took me years to work out that they're actually a narcissist. And it's a funny old world, isn't it? Sometimes the things that are right in front of you, you don't work out. But somehow that song just comes together, and the way it's structured and the way it kind of develops kind of creates that narcissistic thing when you're with a narcissist, how they kind of smother you, gaslighting you, and how the intensity of it, and they keep repeating themselves but in new and different ways, playing the same old games in new and different ways, so you can never quite get a grip on them. And somehow through synchronicity or serendipity, I managed to express that in a musical form. So there you go.
And Venusberg, we know it's not you that he's referring to in the
It's
song.
certainly not Venus. It's certainly not Venusberg. It's not Venusberg at all. So it's a funny old world, isn't it? A funny old world, and in creativity as well. Because that song, it just came out really easily. Yet it's technically it's one of my most advanced songs, and yet but then there are the other ones that are much less advanced. But that I spend a lot of time and hacking over them and doing rewrites and rewrites. Whereas that one just smoothly came out. So that's how the creative thing works, it seems. You put in all the work, and then it kind of comes out in an unexpected way when you're least expecting it. Unexpected, yeah.
And there isn't any one way that the process happens. It's just,
No,
you
that
go
song
with the
pretty much,
inspiration and it takes you there.
it pretty much wrote itself. But then there's the years of preparation coming up to it, you see. That kind of did the work. But then every now and again, things just come together in the creative life, and it kind of wrote itself. So that's a good thing to know. If you're a creative person, just stick at it and hack at it. And even if you think you're not getting somewhere, you might not be getting somewhere in the immediate thing. But what you're doing is you're laying seeds, and those seeds will, if you keep at it with tenacity, those seeds will sprout fruit when you're least expecting it, and the fruit will be really, really good.
And so, speaking of, you mentioned, the years of work that went into it. You've been writing stories and poetry for years, haven't you?
Yes, that was quite a new thing actually. I think not long before I started doing the acoustic stuff, I got a bit depressed, as we all do, and I thought, oh, I'm going to give up music. I'm not getting anywhere at it, and I thought I'm not that good at it anyhow. So I thought I'd give up music and become a writer instead. And that's when I wrote a lot of those stories, all those stories pretty much. And also at the same time, I was very much into Carl Jung, and so I discovered dream analysis and dream capturing. So they really gave me lots of stuff from my stories as well.
It's a great place to pull inspiration from, absolutely.
Mm.
And I don't know if you believe in something like this, but I've heard that if you tell yourself you're going to remember your dreams, you will. And if you write them down quickly when you wake up, you're more likely to remember them.
Absolutely, on both of those points, that has been exactly my experience. What you just said, yeah.
And so, by the way, I really enjoy when you post links to your stories in like Crack Mother's Discord or different places.
Okay.
Like I've followed them back and read them on WordPress.
Yeah, I'll put some more in. I think I've got a few more left. some of them are straight dreams, but I kind of adapt them as well. Or, but yeah, there is generally a degree of dream capture in a lot of those stories.
Have you ever done live readings? I guess not if it's a new thing for you, right?
What is a live reading? I'm not even sure what a live reading is.
Just in front of an audience, say, reading.
Oh, of course. No, I haven't. I've done 1 or 2 videos where I've done sort of verbal presentations. If ever I get my big new future fantasy thing together, like I say, I would perhaps hire actors to do readings. People that have specialised in using their voice for for acting and for that sort of thing. Whereas I've specialised in using my voice for singing, and I think for acting and speaking, it's better to have a sort of lower, fuller voice.
So I found a clip on your YouTube that's maybe the cross section of these two talents that you have: the writing for, writing for writing's sake and writing for music. And I'd like to play it for everyone and then get your thoughts on it. And I'm just going to go into it and we'll see it when it happens. I really enjoyed watching this.
Thank you very much.
That tattered fixture of the quixotic, exotic and nigh psychotic. We start with the chartered partisans of archetypal hyperbole. Here tell the well-hard guardians of the fluffy stuff. Congratulate the wonderful state of the great debate. Let loose for the Dowager Flower Juice and her purring nymph-symphonia. Have a rub for the bubble of unravelling trouble. And again for the Zen men. Unwind to the mind-numbing grind of the blindly rummaging scrum. Observe the swerving mob. Fade a strain for the insane remainers. For the soon-to-be stern fraternity of moon loonies. Sneak a peek at the clique of the freaky mystique. How the wailing failures. Kiss your hats for the missing cats. Extend your commendations to the friends and relations of the trendy pretenders. Raise a twist for the crystal gazers. Reveal the hidden seal of the unbidden feelings. Your revels for the sinful sperm devils. Hold a smile for the bold trial of nubile style. Face the strange changing race of space angels. Cheer the queer choir of desire. Crack an accolade for the dazzling masquerade of dreamers, schemers and stunning sunbeamers. Release the law-whoring peace warriors. Enjoy the annoying boy. Make a toast to the host of the fake boarding spawn. Give thanks to the quivering ranks. Wag a leg for the dread-begging slag dragons. And finally, all stand for the grand sign of the divine androgyne. So, hence the show commence.
Lovely comments.
All right. I saw that message from Venusberg. I hope you all enjoyed that, and I hope you weren't having the same problems they were over at Castle Nufu, because, yeah, they had lost it a bit there, and I hope it played through okay for everyone. But yes, that was Odd Modern Squad. And,
Oh, yes, yes. What can I say about that?
and so, fantastic bit of performance art mixed with music, and I loved it. I had to play it, and it shows a different side of what you do as well.
Yeah, well, I'd like to do more of that, but at the moment, my time and energy is all tied up with doing this streaming. And so, because that takes a fair amount of time and energy to do something like that. It's not something you can just knock off in an afternoon. We're talking a good sort of week and a half of kind of solid work, big long days of work. It's a lot more work than you realise to do something like that.
I wouldn't think it just spills out like that. That was a lot. That was a
Yeah,
lot of content that we just saw in 5 minutes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also the backing track, the bass parts and the drum parts and all that, and also a fair few days of rehearsals as well. I generally do a couple of days of rehearsals on the vocal to really just get the nuance right, and also on the guitar part as well. That I'll be rehearsing that over a week or two, sort of in the evenings, just while I'm doing the music in the day, and then I'll just to really get fluid on the guitar,
And it's
get it
great seeing
fluid.
you on electric too. Would you stream, your electric guitar as well?
I'd love to. There's lots of technical problems in streaming the electric, but I would love to. And also, my personal view is that I only like to use electric with a band behind me. I feel I don't really like the sound of electric guitar by itself, although other people make it sound brilliant. It's just my personal view, and I stick to my own little rules in music, but I only like the electric guitar when it's got a drum kit and a bass guitar and a full electric rock band behind it. I feel it's too clangy and too hard sounding by itself.
That makes sense.
So
Yeah.
when I get the full band, it's gonna be electric psychedelic all the way, mate.
It's like the electric amplification can compete with the drums, right?
Exactly, yes, exactly. And they meld together well. Exactly.
And so I wonder, Nufu, on your end, can you see the stream at this point? Is it coming through clearly for you?
No, I can't see anything. I've got the chat is coming through beautifully, but no.
Well, I had something to show you. I'll still show you. I'll show the rest of everyone, and
I
then
can
I'll
see,
show you
I can see,
afterwards.
I can see you on Twitch,
Okay.
with the green screen behind you, which is pretty much good. It's pretty much what everyone is seeing, isn't it?
Oh, so you can see me on Discord, right? Because
I'm
on,
sorry, Discord.
yep,
Sorry,
yep.
Discord. Yeah. Well, I can't see the backdrop. I can just see you with the green screen behind.
And
So that is.
Nufu sees behind the curtain. He sees through the illusion, and he sees me in front of green. Um,
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna show this off, and then I'll explain it to you, and then I'll show you right after the stream what I'm talking about. I've got a little present for you.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Wasn't expecting that at all.
Here, I'm gonna
You got a present for me?
I'm gonna switch over and show everyone this. And there it is. My little tribute to New Future Fantasy. Let you all soak that in for a second.
I see there's lots of what's the word? Not great accolades coming on the chat, but I have no idea what you just showed everyone.
I love that. Too bad you couldn't see it when I showed it, but it is a pixelated animation of you. I drew you in pixel form and animated it. So I'll be able to share that with you. I'm going to send you the GIF. It's an animated GIF, and you'll be able to use it on whatever pleases you. It's
God bless you, Governor. God bless you.
My
Thank
tribute.
You so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. And it's been great. I've really enjoyed this. I've really enjoyed talking to you. And look, there's Ornery and Mean with the one I made for him. And just side note, Ornery and Mean is the reason I'm on Twitch today. So shout out to Ornery and Mean. I really appreciate you out there.
You've done a great job here. I think you're a great interviewer, great sympathy. You've done your research. You've just done it really, really nicely. I've just felt totally comfortable.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
A new experience for me. I think you've handled it perfectly.
A new experience for NewFu. I appreciate that.
This is it.
That's a compliment.
Well done. Well done to you. You're the one who's made this happen, really.
And before we get out of here, we talked about this before, but I'm about to show one of your favorite movies on stream right after this to wrap things up. And so we talked about a couple possibilities, but landed on Spirited Away.
Yeah, again, a very conservative choice. My tastes are pretty conservative, really, for someone who seems so way out there. But it's a wonderful, wonderful movie, isn't it? You know, just we all adore it.
And I love it. I'm sure a lot of people out there have seen it already, but you're going to see it again in a second here. And it's a magically fantastic movie. And I thought it was great. I thought it fit your personality, so I thought it was a great choice.
Again, it's loaded with that Jungian dream logic, isn't it? That
absolutely.
Which is Jung just brought it through to modern age. It's as old as consciousness itself. That logic. You can see it in loads of old literature. And Miyazaki has just brought it through and adapted it with sort of Japanese animation. A modern genius, Miyazaki, I think. A real modern genius.
Well said, absolutely. And so we'll get into it now, and I hope you all enjoy it. I love sharing movies with all of you, and I love sharing movies with you, NewFu. You're always in the stream, always appreciating it. And
love it.
Love to share this with you. And thanks again for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone.
Cheers.
Take care. Take care, everybody.